Hello everyone and welcome to the Atelier Nekozuki podcast. This is episode 64 and today is December 13th, 2018, and this is Flynn, who, although he does not look too impressed, is actually quite happy to be here. So this is Quality Control Inspector Flynn. He's a Norwegian forest cat and he is just over 2 years old and he's still got 3 more years of growing to go. Currently he is actually just sitting on my legs and I've got him a little bit stretched up, but not very much. So now I'll let him go so that he doesn't wreak havoc everywhere. So my name's Katie. I've got a bunch of new subscribers, so thank you so much if you're new, and thank you so much to everyone returning as well. A little bit of a rundown. I live in Cochrane, Alberta, Canada, and it is currently December, which means Chinook season, and it's really cloudy and gross outside, so there is a big overhead light on. I don't really have studio lights. Everything's kind of in an uproar right now anyway. We are finishing our basement so that I can actually move my business downstairs, and that'll be where I start podcasting as well, I think. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to podcast in the yarn room or downstairs, or I might switch that back and forth a little bit. It'd be kind of nice. I think mostly I would consider this work, so I'll keep my work downstairs probably, so you'll be able to see all the fabric and everything like that, which will be super awesome. Yeah, so we're like less than 2 weeks till Christmas. Which, are you done your Christmas knitting? Do you do Christmas knitting? Like, let me know. I do. I have finished 3/4 of my Christmas knitting, so I've actually got a finished object to show you today and a work in progress. Now, it's going to be a fairly short podcast, and I am sorry that I wasn't here last week. It was quite honestly a very crappy week. And I'm back this week, and I'll be back next week, and then I'll be back the following week as well. But last week it just got me, and just even the thought of podcasting, I don't know, I couldn't bring myself to do it. So sorry guys, but you get finished objects because of it, or a finished object because of it, which you haven't even seen as a whip. Now I said that I wasn't going to show these, but it'll be fine. I knit the Local Roots Mukluks for Dallas, my husband. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. And yeah, so they're slippers basically. There was a couple things. The pattern says to knit until you're 4 inches from your desired length. Now, this might be my own mistake, I don't know, or it might be because the instructions weren't that clear, but it's an afterthought heel construction, and I legit thought that the afterthought heel would actually add length this way, so like an extra heel, right? So I finished this at 4 inches of the foot, minus the heel. However, how this actually worked is that I should have knit this an extra 2 inches long. I'm hoping they fit Dallas. He's got a 10-inch foot, so I knit 4 inches because I typically, like, this should have added length, right? Because it's a heel. And then the toe is approximately 4 inches as well, so there's 8 plus what I assumed was 2. But that is not the case. Now, they did fit the sock blockers, which are 10-inch forms. So, if worst case scenario, they fit me. Best case scenario, if they don't fit, I will pick it out and I can just continue down the toe. Annoying, but doable. I don't know how much he'll actually wear these or not. I kind of just pick something to knit, because I normally knit him a pair of socks and something else. And these are kind of socks, but anyway. So that would be the word to the wise, is make sure to actually knit it. Yeah, that looks really stubby still. At least they'll stretch when he puts them on. It's like a really flexible pattern. I knit them out of Cascade 220. Just stash. I'm trying to stash down a little bit this year. They're cute, but yeah, kind of short. What else? In the Kelly Green colorway, what they would count as Kelly Green, I believe. Man, They look so stubby. What was I gonna say about them? Oh, there is a mistake in the afterthought heel pattern in like the second or third row. It has knit 1 listed where it should be a knit 3, so if you are knitting these, please be aware of that. Again, they're the Local Roots Mukluks by Andrea Mowry. They're cute. I won't be that upset if I end up having them for myself. So, and there are 2 of them. I'm just showing one because it's easier. And then the last piece of Christmas knitting that I'm doing is I'm knitting a pair of Christmas socks for Dallas. And here they are. So these weren't even cast on last week because I hadn't even gotten the yarn yet, or when you saw me last. So I've knit the toe, and I think I am, as we just discussed, he has a 10-inch foot. So I need to knit 8 inches before I do the afterthought heel. This was one, sorry, let me measure and then I will chat at you. So they're about 7 inches right now. So, actually yeah, so I've only got 1 more inch to go and then I could add the heel in. This was a Christmas colorway by Flock Fiber Studio, a local dyer to me, which it was stuck in the chimney, and it comes with like a coordinating mini skein. And you cannot see the diversity of color in there because, again, the light sucks today. But, yeah, I'll try and get some actual good photos. There's like blues and reds and browns. And I'm pretty sure it's a reference to the Gremlins. I'm not quite sure. But Stuck Up the Chimney is the main color here. And then a Lump of Coal is the mini skein, which is super cute. So I'm going to do contrast toes, heels, and then I'll see... I don't know if I'll be able to do the cuff in it, or if I could just do like a little band around the top or what. We'll see how much is left over of this. Or I can just keep that for future heels and toes, because the skein is 140 grams, so it's 115 grams of main color, 25 gram mini skein, which means that I have more than enough to knit socks for Dallas. Generally, I need just over 100 grams, so I need about 115 grams to knit him comfortable, like socks at the length that he likes. So, you know, I'll have, I think as long as I do the heel in that, then I'll have lots to actually finish the socks. And then keep some left over from the mini skein. So, that brings me to what I actually did last week. Not much. Besides this. These took up so much time. It's ridiculous. I also cheated and only did 2 out of the 3 leaf repeats, which I'm really glad. They're cute, but they're so much work. So much work. So I did those, and then there's a bunch of runaround to do for the truck. It had to go in for a little bit of body work, but I needed to get it detailed beforehand. And what else happened? I wrapped Christmas gifts. That's always fun. Sorry, this is kind of the chatter section now, I guess. But yeah, mostly I knit and I played Okami, and I played the HD version on Xbox One. So it's a remake of the original Okami game that came out on PlayStation. I'm 36 hours into it, and I think I'm maybe 2/3 of the way through. I'm not sure if I'm 2/3 or half. So I've definitely got at least 1/3 to go, because it just opened up a new section, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's just that it does take a lot of like commitment on my part, so I haven't been playing it that much in the last few months with work. So yeah, I did that. I knit. I watched a bunch of Christmas movies on Sunday night, so I ended up seeing most of The Holiday with Queen Latifah, which I haven't watched that one very much, but I did enjoy it. What else? There was that, and then of course Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer came on right after that, and then it was Home Alone, so I watched kind of the classics. And knit and played Okami, so it was good. And then what I've been reading recently is I've been reading The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. This was one that I started as an audiobook, and then my audiobook loan expired, so I decided just to get the physical copy. I restarted reading from more or less where I left off in the audiobook. and I've really enjoyed it. I'm less than 100 pages left, and yeah, I've got the sequel already upstairs to read, and then a bunch of other ones too. I am still kind of reading The Elusive Bride by Stephanie Lawrence, and I finished The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead. I don't know if I chatted about that one. It's an audiobook. My one problem with that one that I'm having is that it's actually got 2 more books. It's technically a trilogy, but I really like the main character, and the other 2 follow the other 2 kind of main characters, but I'm not as intrigued by their stories. So I'll probably read it just to figure out what actually happens with the first main character, because like she's got a bunch of story plot lines that haven't been wrapped up yet. And then I'll see actually what happens basically in the second book, and then I'll see if I want to finish the third book or not. The other drawback to those ones is that only the first book is in audiobook form in my library, which is super annoying. So I have to read the next 2 because I really liked the narrator of the first one, so I don't know. And then I started listening to the audiobook of The Selection by Kiera Cass last night, and I am enjoying that, so I'm going to continue it. It feels like it's a post-dystopian novel. So they've gone through, they've had their disaster, and they're reestablishing, which is kind of refreshing, because honestly I am over YA dystopian novels right now. There was that deluge, and now I'm really glad that like we're getting out of it. And I think this came at the time of that deluge, but it's not as it's post dystopian, I would count it. Like it's reestablishing dystopian, or dystopias once they start reestablishing. There we go. Yeah, so that is really all. It's a super short episode. I should have more knitting to show you next week, and a little bit more reading, because that's all I plan to do. I'm kind of in the down phase with the business right now, especially since we are going to be finishing the basement, so I don't want to like ramp up production again too much. Thanks for everyone who joined me for 12 days of deals. If you stuck through those newsletters, thank you so much. I know that it could be a little bit trying. There will be some specials coming up with Boxing Day. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to run that, but there will be something. And yeah, I believe that the shipping dates for Christmas have passed, unless you choose like super fast shipping. So let me know if you need anything to be upgraded like that, and we'll get it sorted out. I'll let you know that, like, it'll be a little bit more back and forth, but we can figure out the cheapest way to do that for you. Yeah, and if you are in the throes of Christmas knitting, good luck. Ganbatte masu, or ganbatte kudasai, which is do your best. And I guess I want to know if you are planning to do a Christmas Eve cast on. So I did actually want to knit myself Christmas socks this year, but I don't think that's happening. At least not to finish. So I think on Christmas Eve I'll be casting on another pair of socks. So do you do a tradition of Christmas Eve cast-ons, or what? For us, for Christmas Eve, or for me, Dallas is actually coming home on Christmas Day this year, which is super exciting. He hasn't been home since we got married, so he hasn't been home for any of our married Christmases. So Christmas Eve I generally go over to my in-laws, and we do like an appy potluck basically, and bring a bunch of different foods. I make cheese balls, and I'm making spinach dip. And then this year the experiment is going to be millefeuille, which is, I'm trying the crepe cake, so the multi-layered crepe cake, which I'm super excited for. Generally my experimental appetizer or dessert-y thing is a dessert, because being diabetic I can't eat all the desserts that I want, and most desserts don't have single serving sizes. So I make it for a group, and then I can have like a small portion of it instead of a big portion. The cheese ball is actually a recipe through my mom from my aunt that I have again modified, so that's always tasty. I love the cheese ball, and it smells like Christmas because of the fixings that you put into it and everything like that. And then the spinach dip is from my other aunt, and I'll be making typically it's like goes into like a sourdough bread bowl, but I've been making no knead bread in my Dutch oven, and they've been coming out really well, and I know that it'll be perfect for the spinach dip. So that's what I'm going to be doing this year, is a no knead and then putting the spinach dip in that. So I've got a little bit of baking to do. My mother-in-law does a lot of the baking, as does my sister-in-law, and again, being diabetic, I can't eat a lot of baking, so I don't do a lot anymore as much as I want to. So I think that's what I'm going to limit my food stuff to this year. It's also less work. Baking's so much work, yo. Yeah, so yeah, let me know some of your traditions. Like, do you do a certain food thing every year, or do you cast on Christmas Eve? What do you do? I'd love to hear. Comment down below, or like DM me, or however you'd like to contact me. I hope you guys all have a good, well, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you're enjoying the winter. I hope that it's been good weather wherever you are, and I will chat with you in a week. Thanks, guys.